Let's get serious for a minute. I'm going to talk about negative reinforcement. When I think of negative reinforcement, the very basis of what I'm getting ready to mention is something that I was fueled by. It's driven me to do a lot of the things that I've done successfully up off in my life. But it's also caused me some heartache. Negative reinforcement. The sole purpose behind me doing this video is I'm thinking about how I've been motivated by doing things out of anger, because when it gets down to it, I was just surrounded by individuals that weren't any good for me, or wasn't meaning me the best, or only trying to be discouraging. And I saw that and I was fueled by that. I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna show you. But what was happening was I was accomplishing these goals, writing this book, working on this next one, doing other things that I'm doing, recording these videos, just making the changes that I need to make in my life. It wasn't good enough. And I'm going to tell you why. I still allowed those people to be there. And what was happening was they were doing like a lot of the people that we talk about on this channel. They were trying to hinder my growth, slow me up on some of my goals, whatever their reason is. Like I've told you in other videos, I don't put a lot of thought into getting caught up on why people do what they want to do. But what I found out is that when I allowed them to remain around me in that same energy, once I was sailing high, things took off, I'm doing good, guess what? They're still right there in that circle. Seeing everything I'm doing, watching everything I'm doing, giving input when it's not asked for, unwarranted. And then the vicious cycle starts all over again. So what I found is that I'm carrying these people to the top, not carrying them to the top in the worldly sense, from the standpoint of like I'm carrying them along and they're like leeching off of me, but they were doing it off of my energy and me, and they were just being, you can look at it however you want. That energy wasn't welcome for what I was doing. That brings me to what I'm talking about negative reinforcement. I've talked to a few others, not many, but I've talked to a few others that operated the same way that I did. It's just like, man, boy, I'm going to show you that stubbornness. Tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go do it. And it's good that, you got the stick-to-itness to keep going at it, prove others wrong. But what I found is it can be short-lived. You can't keep running that race and doing that at the expense of the people around you. What I found was me laying the groundwork for whatever it is that I'm wanting to do. See what I'm trying to accomplish. Doing the very things that we talk about on this channel. Keeping my goals personal. Doing my research first. Keeping a lot of people out of my head when it comes to the positive things that I'm trying to do. Is everything a secret? No. Obviously, there's a very select, when I say very select, I'm talking one or two. That's not the magic number. That's just what's going on in my life. That know on some of the things that I'm doing or have done. And I can assure you those one or two that I'm talking about are the very individuals that are awesome. Man, I see X, Y, and Z for you. They're giving positive reinforcement. That negative reinforcement, I'm going to jump back on that for a minute. Tell you what's funny about that. The same ones that's telling you, I'm really oversimplifying, because more often than not, they're not going to directly say what's on their mind. It's going to come in the standpoint of jabs. Sometimes you do get some ugly comments. I know that I have. Just flat out, because some people just have diarrhea at the mouth and they just say whatever comes across their mind. But what I found is the same ones that are trying to lightweight knock you, when you're, depending on what it is and what you've done, when you climb to the top, they'll want to be right there in your ear. That's how you get to say yes, people. Yeah, man, I knew you was going to do it. I knew blah, blah, blah. You didn't know nothing. You were trying to hinder it. Or this is the very real world way that this works. They're sitting right by your side as you're climbing to the top, trying to find another way to bring you down. And it's negative. So I tried to find the positive. And let me think about this before the statement comes out of my mouth. I tried to find the positive in these negative situations, which it's something that I encourage you to do. But when you do that, you got to do it, know how to properly move on. See, one of the mishaps that I was doing, I was allowing some of these very things sit right here by my side as I'm soaring on up to the top of my goals. And it was hindering me. It was causing heartache. It was making it harder in the long run. It was positive from the standpoint I used it to fuel me in my goals, but it was negative. It ultimately ended up negative because of the heartache that it was causing me. You'll notice when I talk about the one or the two individuals that I do share information with, and I use that word, positive reinforcement, because guess what? It is all positive. Gave them something good. They came back with something positive. We moved on. If it was constructive criticism that was needed, it was awesome. We discussed it. We moved on. I'm not talking about say yes people. Negative reinforcement. That's what it is. I'm telling you, so hopefully you can avoid some of the pitfalls that I've had and know how to properly manage the things that's going on around you, the people, what you're a part of, so you can keep sailing right on to the top, accomplishing those goals. That's my take on it. If you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on all my social media. I'm Aim. Oh, if you got any questions, send them to my Gmail. Aim.Kilimanjaro@gmail.com. I'll do my best to answer your question in a video. All right? Stay encouraged. Avoid being discouraged. You all have a good one.